We are getting some news in to us about a strike in Gaza. Hani Mahmoud is live in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Hani, what can you tell us?
Just couple minutes ago, an airstrike just struck the gate of the hospital. That's actually a few meters away from where we are standing here. Since early hours of this morning, the skies of the central area, mainly above the hospital, this hospital, was clouded with many of the drones. You can hear them in the background. And for the past few hours, we've been talking to each other that the dense presence of these attack drones is for a reason here. And just within the past couple minutes, huge airstrike that is right next to the gate of the hospital. We're getting now confirmed reports, judging from what I'm looking at right now, but because it's a massive explosion, the dust and the debris just covered main parts of the hospital. When I talk about next to the gate of the hospital, just the landscape of the area, this is a road that is at about 8 meters wide, and across from the gate there is a house that has been already bombed at the initial weeks of the war. It's been targeted again now. The debris and the dust all come to the courtyard of the hospital as we speak right now. We would be warning of the dense presence of these drones, and we did not expect it to happen right at this time, but it did happen. As you can hear in the background, the buzz sound of these attack drones is still in the skies and still clouding the skies of the central area, mainly above the hospital. See, as you see from the frame of the camera, these are one of the injuries, a child who happened to be hit by a shrapnel. There is another one also being rushed inside the hospital, and this is from the flying shrapnels and debris, as the explosion was quite intense. I'm not sure if you guys could hear that in the studio, but it was so deafening. It was so loud here.
Hani, we can most definitely hear the continual sound of drones above you, Israeli military drones. Are you suggesting it was one of those drones that carried out this specific strike? And do we know what the intended target was there?
Well, what we know so far, it's a house that has been already bombed. But the fact that it's not far from the hospital, this has already created a sense of intimidation, a sense of fear and concern, as people, remember, within the past few days, right before the announcement of the pause in the fighting in the central area because of the vaccination campaign, people were literally told by the Israeli military, as they received messages and they read the leaflets that were dropped by the Israeli army, to go back to these blocks, 128, 129, 130. They're all next to each other, and they were told they are safe. Literally, the word safe was in those text messages, was in those leaflets, and people were told to get back to these areas. And now the explosion just took place, just shattered any sense of safety that remained to people. Also shattered any sense of trust in the narrative about the pauses in the fighting. As again, this is very similar to what the Israeli military has been doing in the past 10 months. It's full of lies, it's misleading, it's contradictory, it's fake. People told to go to areas to avoid being bombed, and they get bombed and they get killed, they get maimed in the very particular areas and locations they were told to go to. We'll keep monitoring the development of this story, but the fact it's happening without any prior warning whatsoever. This road next to the gate of the hospital is quite busy at this particular time of the day. It's more of like a rush hours. It's a marketplace here. People tend to leave their tents, tend to leave the areas where they evacuated, they have been evacuated in, and come to this road and particular streets leading to the gate of the hospital and buying and shop and restock from whatever is available here. So it's really a busy hour, quite more of like a rush hour in the area. And what we're getting now, consistent with what I was saying, the street was full of hundreds of people, either those who are coming back to their homes, taking their belongings and taking the very road where the explosion happens, going back to the eastern part of Deir el-Balah city or the vicinity of the hospital when the explosion happens.
All right, Hani, many thanks for that update. We'll of course come back to you as and when we get more information. Just to clarify, Hani and the rest of the team have been reporting on the rollout of polio vaccines, one of the centres there in Deir al-Balah. Just to repeat what we've just heard from Hani, what appears to have been a strike possibly carried out by an Israeli military drone on a target close to the gates of that hospital, as I say, on day 2 of the polio vaccine rollout, something that the Israeli military said they would provide a safe corridor to allow civilians to get to and to allow them to be vaccinated.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get latest news from Al Jazeera.